Kale adjusted the controls of the small research shuttle, the hum of the engine filling the cockpit. Outside, the endless stretch of stars stretched like silver threads across the black canvas of space. Despite the beauty, there was an unspoken tension in the air. The human outpost on the edge of the system was isolated, and the humans stationed there were few, but determined. Kale was one of them, a pilot with nerves of steel, though he rarely admitted fear even to himself. In the lab beside the docking bay, Lyra bent over a cluster of screens analyzing samples of alien flora collected from nearby moons. She moved with calm precision, her fingers gliding across the touch panels, adjusting chemical levels and running genetic scans. Her hair fell into her face and she brushed it back without breaking her focus. Kale watched her from the cockpit doorway, pretending not to. They were not a couple, not openly, but everyone at the station knew there was something quiet between them. A glance shared over a meal, a hand held briefly to steady each other during repairs, small gestures that meant everything in a place where danger was routine. Kale felt it in the way his chest tightened when Lyra laughed quietly, or how the corners of her eyes crinkled when she smiled at something small and human in the middle of alien vastness. "Kyle," a voice crackled over the comm, pulling him from his thoughts. "The orbital scanners are picking up a strange signal. Could be nothing, but it's unusual." Kyle straightened. He liked unusual. "Show me," he said. On the display, a pulsing blue dot appeared far from any known trade routes or outposts. It was faint but distinct, a rhythmic signal almost like a heartbeat. Lyra walked into the cockpit, her brow furrowed. "That's not natural," she said softly. "No natural phenomena in this sector pulses with that frequency." "It's structured." Kyle leaned back in his seat. "Structured? Like someone is trying to talk?" "Or leave a message," Lyra replied. Her voice carried a note of wonder that Kale rarely heard. "We should investigate." Kyle looked at her. The intensity in her eyes was clear. "You know the Council would ignore it. Federation rules are strict. Any unknown signal in uncharted space is ignored unless it's a threat." Lyra smiled faintly, a spark lighting her gaze. "Since when have humans ever followed rules if they get in the way of discovery?" That was Kale's favorite part of her. Lyra had a quiet courage, not the kind that shouted or demanded attention, but the kind that shone through in actions. He found himself smiling in return, feeling an echo of warmth deep inside him. The decision was made. They would investigate. Kale's fingers flew across the controls, plotting a course toward the source of the signal. The rest of the crew grumbled quietly. It was risky, but Kale and Lyra had a knack for surviving what others considered impossible. The journey to the uncharted planet was tense. Meteoroids brushed past the shuttle, leaving streaks of light in their wake. Sensors picked up strange radiation fields that interfered with navigation. Every obstacle made Kale and Lyra work closer together, their silent teamwork becoming almost instinctual. When a system flashed a warning, Kale would reach over, fingers brushing Lyra's as he reset the console. Neither spoke, but the small touch carried reassurance. Finally, the blue dot resolved into a small planet with a shimmering, almost metallic surface. Kale slowed the shuttle as they entered orbit. The planet's atmosphere glowed faintly, pulsing in rhythm with the signal. It was beautiful, alien, and dangerous all at once. "We should land near that ridge," Lyra suggested, pointing to a plateau glowing softly. "The signal seems strongest there." Kale nodded. "Suit up. We don't know what's waiting for us." The landing was rough. The shuttle rattled as it touched down on the uneven ground, dust swirling in soft clouds. Kale and Lyra stepped out, their boots crunching on the alien soil. The air was breathable but carried a faint metallic scent. Strange plants pulsed faintly with the same rhythm as the signal, glowing softly under their suits' lights. They moved cautiously toward the ridge, scanning the area. Lyra paused occasionally, collecting samples, documenting the bioluminescent flora, and marking unusual rock formations. Kale watched over her shoulder, noting the alien beauty that seemed to resonate with her energy. There was a harmony here, subtle but undeniable, and he felt it quietly echoing in him. Hours passed. The signal grew stronger, guiding them toward a valley that opened into what looked like ruins. Strange geometric structures rose from the ground, their surfaces etched with patterns that pulsed in time with the mysterious signal. Lyra's eyes widened. "It's old," she whispered. "Far older than anything the Federation has catalogued." This civilization disappeared long ago, but their signal remains, almost like they left a message for whoever could understand it. Kyle looked at her, realizing that this discovery, this moment, was theirs alone. He reached out and lightly touched her shoulder, a small gesture of connection. Lyra looked up, meeting his gaze, and for a brief moment the galaxy outside seemed to pause. Words were unnecessary. Their bond, unspoken but profound, felt stronger here than anywhere else. Suddenly the ground trembled. Kale grabbed Lyra's arm instinctively, steadying her. A low hum filled the air, and the patterns on the ruins glowed brighter. Energy crackled across the structures as though awakening after centuries of slumber. "This is incredible," Lyra breathed. "The planet, it's alive somehow, and it's responding to us." Kale tightened his grip on her hand, feeling the pulse of energy beneath their feet. "Stay close. We don't know what's coming next." A flash of light shot across the sky. Federation scouts appeared, sleek ships glinting in the planet's glow. Kale cursed under his breath. The humans were few. The other species outnumbered them easily, and they were far more advanced technologically. But Kale and Lyra did not falter. Together they began to coordinate quietly with their team. Kale's mind raced through maneuvers, and Lyra's knowledge of the planet's strange resonance helped them move without triggering the alien structures. Each action they took, every small decision, carried weight, but their bond, silent and steady, amplified their courage. The alien planet seemed to hum with recognition, the pulse of the signal almost in sync with their heartbeat. Kale realized something profound. It wasn't just their courage or skill. It was the quiet strength they shared. The unspoken trust, the subtle acts of care for one another, was resonating here in ways he didn't fully understand. Hours later, after the first encounter with the Federation ships, Kale and Lyra stood together on the ridge. The humans had survived the initial skirmish, using clever maneuvers and subtle knowledge of the terrain. No one had shouted orders. No one had demanded heroics, just quiet teamwork, trust, and the deep connection between Kyle and Lyra. They looked out at the glowing ruins and the pulse of energy that still echoed through the valley. Kale squeezed Lyra's hand gently. "We made it this far," he said. "And we will go further," Lyra replied softly, her eyes reflecting the alien light. The silence between them was filled with meaning. Their love had not needed to shout to matter. In the vast, uncaring reaches of space, it was already echoing louder than any cry of life, stronger than any weapon, and brighter than any star. Somewhere deep in the ruins, the pulse continued, almost as if the planet itself had recognized them, and Kale knew without a doubt that their quiet bond was the beginning of something far larger than themselves. The stars outside shimmered. The unknown waited, and Kale and Lyra, hand in hand, were ready to face it together. The glow of the alien ruins bathed Kale and Lyra in soft blue light as they advanced cautiously through the valley. The pulse of the signal from the planet throbbed beneath their feet, almost like a heartbeat in sync with their own. Every step forward felt deliberate, almost sacred, as if the planet itself was testing them, testing their courage, their trust, their quiet connection. Kale scanned the surrounding terrain with practiced vigilance. "Stay close," he whispered. "We don't know what's alive out here. Not everything is going to be friendly." Lyra nodded, her eyes wide with wonder as she documented everything with her portable scanner. The flora here was bioluminescent, glowing in shades of cyan and violet, reacting to their presence with subtle waves of light. Lyra crouched down to inspect a flower that pulsed brighter when she reached for it. "It's like it's aware," she murmured. "This planet, it knows we're here." Kyle glanced at her, his heart warming. "You feel it too?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Yes, but it's not frightening, it's welcoming in a strange way." They moved deeper into the ruins. Strange stone structures carved with intricate geometric patterns rose like towers from the ground. The symbols pulsed faintly in rhythm with the planet's signal. Lyra ran her hand along one, her touch almost instinctively matching the pulse. The light responded, growing brighter with each gentle press of her fingertips. Kale watched her silently, amazed. Humans often relied on ingenuity and empathy, subtle skills other species lacked. Lyra's calm understanding of the planet's patterns was a perfect example. Kyle realized again how remarkable humans were, and how quietly powerful their bonds could be. As they explored, a sudden vibration ran through the ground. Kale yanked Lyra back, just in time to see a section of the ruins rise like a gate. revealing a hidden chamber inside. The pulse of the signal grew stronger. "This must be it," Lyra whispered. "The source of the signal is inside." Kale took a deep breath. "Stay alert. Federation ships might have followed us." They descended into the chamber. Inside, the air was cool, almost sweet, and filled with faint energy that made the hairs on Kale's arms stand. In the center of the room hovered a crystalline device, glowing with a soft, steady light. Lines of alien script ran across its surface, pulsating with the same rhythm as the planet's heartbeat. Lyra approached the device carefully. "It's alive in a sense," she said softly. "It responds to thought, emotion, even touch." Kale stepped closer, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. "Do you think it's dangerous?" "Not if we respect it," Lyra replied. Her hand hovered over the crystal. "It wants connection. It wants to be understood." Kale watched her place her hand on the crystal. Light coursed through her fingertips and spread across the chamber. The device hummed gently, as though responding to the quiet courage and trust radiating from them both. Kale extended his hand to her and they touched the crystal together. The pulse surged through them, a wave of energy that was powerful yet not harmful. In that moment, Kyle felt something profound. Their connection, their quiet love, the trust and understanding between them, was amplifying the device's response. Humans were unpredictable. Humans were emotional. And in that unpredictability there was power. Suddenly the hum of the device changed. A holographic projection rose from the crystal, displaying star maps, ancient structures, and a language Kale and Lyra did not understand. Yet the images conveyed meaning without words, lessons in strategy, resilience, and ingenuity. The device was not a weapon but a guide. It seemed to encourage those who approached it with courage, empathy, and intelligence to grow stronger. Kale's eyes narrowed. This could change everything. Humans could use this to protect themselves without needing weapons that destroy. Lyra nodded. "It amplifies what we already have, our ability to think, to feel, to act together. The Federation won't understand this. They rely on brute force." Their thoughts were interrupted by a sharp vibration beneath their feet. Kale's scanner beeped furiously. Federation ships had indeed arrived. They were landing on the edge of the valley, their sensors scanning for life. Kale looked at Lyra, determination in his eyes. "We need to move carefully. But we can't let them take this," he said. Lyra placed her hand on his arm, a simple gesture that spoke volumes. "Together," she whispered. Kale nodded, and they moved toward the exit of the chamber, using the holographic data to anticipate the terrain outside. They led their team through hidden paths and natural cover, guiding them around patrols. Each step required silent coordination, subtle gestures, and quiet trust. Their love, though unspoken, was a silent force that kept their team moving, focused and confident. Hours passed, and the humans found themselves cornered near the edge of a cliff. The Federation forces blocked the main exit, and the terrain behind them glowed with the pulsing light of the ruins. Kale surveyed the situation. There was no way out by conventional means, but Lyra noticed something. A series of ridges and reflective surfaces on the cliffside aligned with the light pulses from the planet. "The energy can carry us," she said, almost to herself. "We can use the resonance to move." "To shield ourselves," Kyle frowned. "Are you sure?" Lyra smiled faintly, a quiet confidence shining in her eyes. "We'll have to trust it. And trust each other." Together they coordinated the move. Lyra activated the device in the chamber remotely, causing pulses of energy to bounce across the terrain. The humans stepped onto the ridges, feeling the resonance lift them slightly, almost as if the planet itself was helping them. Federation forces fired, but the energy shield created by the resonance deflected the attacks. Kale and Lyra guided their team, silently communicating through gestures, whispers, and shared intuition. Every human followed their lead, performing acts that no other species could replicate, combining intellect, courage, and subtle creativity. By the time the pulse subsided, the humans were safely across a natural bridge far from the Federation's reach. They paused, breathing heavily, adrenaline still coursing through their veins. The planet's glow bathed them, soft and warm. Kale looked at Lyra, his hand finding hers. "We did it," he said softly. "We did," Lyra replied, her fingers intertwined with his. "And the planet. It helped us because of us. Because of what we are." Kale's heart swelled. Humans were small, fragile in the eyes of the Federation, but they were resourceful, courageous, and their ability to connect with each other, quietly and deeply, made them extraordinary. For a moment, they simply stood there hand in hand, surrounded by the soft hum of the alien planet. No words were needed. Their quiet love had guided them through danger, through uncertainty, and through the challenges no one else could navigate. Night fell on the alien planet, and the glowing ruins reflected softly on the ground. Kale and Lyra set up a small camp with their team, sharing a quiet meal as they watched the light pulses drift across the landscape. The Federation ships had withdrawn, confused by the humans' strange abilities and the planet's energy. Lyra leaned against Kale's shoulder. "Do you think they will ever understand us?" she asked quietly. Kale smiled faintly. "They'll never understand, but they'll respect us. They'll see that we're not weak. We're just different." Lyra nodded, her head resting lightly on his shoulder. "Different, yes, but maybe that's enough." Kale looked out over the glowing horizon. The alien planet pulsed softly, like a heart beating in time with theirs. "It's more than enough," he said. "It's exactly what we need." And in that quiet moment, surrounded by danger and wonder, Kale and Lyra understood something profound. Human courage, ingenuity, and love did not need to be loud to be powerful. Their quiet connection, unassuming and steadfast, could echo louder than any weapon, louder than any shout of life in the galaxy. Somewhere deep in the ruins, the pulse continued, stronger than before. It was as if the planet had recognized them, and perhaps even chosen them. Together, Kale and Lyra had become more than humans. They were a force of quiet brilliance, a spark that could shape worlds, inspire hearts, and stand against the vastness of the cosmos. And as they sat together under the alien stars, hand in hand, Kale and Lyra knew that the adventure was far from over. The galaxy had seen a glimpse of what humans could do, and it had only just begun. The alien planet pulsed brighter than ever as Kale and Lyra emerged from their camp. The ruins behind them glowed with a radiant energy that seemed to stretch across the valley, touching every ridge, every tree, and every stone. The holographic maps from the crystal device had revealed hidden patterns, showing pathways through the planet's energy fields that only humans could navigate. Kale adjusted his equipment, his eyes scanning the horizon. Federation ships had returned, sleek and threatening, their weapons aimed directly at the humans. Yet Kale did not flinch. He knew they had a secret that no other species could match. Lyra's hand found his again, fingers entwining as she stood beside him. "We're ready," she said softly. Her voice carried a quiet confidence that made Kale's heart surge. "The planet is with us," Kale nodded. "Then let's show them what humans can do." The humans moved with precision, using the resonance of the planet as a shield. Each pulse of energy amplified their movements, allowing them to dodge attacks, traverse terrain, and communicate silently with subtle gestures and glances. The Federation fired relentlessly, but their advanced weapons were neutralized by the planet's awakening energy. Kyle led the charge, his mind calculating every move, every potential risk. Lyra guided the team with intuition, understanding the subtle shifts in the planet's rhythm. The humans, small in number, moved like a single entity, their quiet trust and ingenuity creating a force no one had anticipated. The alien planet responded to their bond, amplifying their actions in ways that were impossible to predict. Platforms rose to carry them over dangerous terrain. Energy shields deflected incoming blasts. Strange beams of light formed pathways that only humans could see. Every subtle act of courage, every small gesture of care between Kale and Lyra, strengthened the planet's defense. One of the Federation commanders finally realized the truth. "These humans," he muttered, "they're different, unpredictable." Kyle smiled faintly, hearing the words even through the calm. Different, yes, but that difference had become their strength. The humans reached the central chamber of the ruins where the crystal device floated above an ornate pedestal. The pulsing light had intensified, filling the entire chamber with warmth and energy. Kyle and Lyra approached together, their hands still clasped. Lyra placed her hand on the crystal and Kyle followed. The energy surged through them, stronger than before. It was as if the planet itself recognized the depth of their bond. The quiet love that had guided them, kept them steady, and inspired their team. The device responded not to power or force, but to human courage, empathy, and connection. "The energy," Kale whispered. It's alive because of us. Lyra nodded, her eyes shining. It's listening to our hearts. It's listening to ours. Together they focused on the planet's pulse, amplifying it through their quiet connection. Waves of light spread outward, forming protective barriers across the valley and disabling the Federation ship's weapons. The humans moved through the chaos with ease, unharmed and confident, their actions precise, deliberate, and entirely human. But the planet's power was unpredictable. The crystal began to glow with intensity that threatened to destabilize the ruins. Kale realized that they needed to focus all their energy, all their bond to stabilize it. He turned to Lyra, his expression serious but calm. We have to synchronize, he said. Completely. Our hearts, our minds, everything. We need to hold this together. Lyra met his gaze, understanding immediately. Then we do it together. They closed their eyes, focusing on each other and the pulse of the planet. Their hearts beat in sync, slow and steady, each pulse resonating with the alien energy. The crystal responded, stabilizing. As the planet's hum shifted into a harmonious rhythm, the light spread like a gentle wave across the ruins, across the valley, and even outward toward the stars. Kale opened his eyes, seeing the Federation ships retreating, their weapons useless against this force. Humans had not used aggression. They had not relied on brute force. They had relied on something no other species could wield: courage, empathy, ingenuity, and love. Hours later, the battle was over. The Federation ships disappeared beyond the horizon, retreating in confusion and awe. The humans had not only survived, but they had done so in a way that no one else could replicate. The planet pulsed softly now, serene and steady, as though thanking them for their presence. Kyle and Lyra stood together, surveying the aftermath. Their team moved around them, exhausted but victorious. They shared quiet smiles and words of encouragement, understanding that this victory was unlike any other. Humans had proven their worth not through weapons or numbers, but through quiet strength and deep connection. Kale took Lyra's hand, holding it gently. We did it, he said softly. Lyra leaned against him, her eyes reflecting the glowing ruins. We did, she agreed. And the planet, it knows. It knows who we are. The alien world seemed alive, humming in harmony with their hearts. Kale realized then that this was the essence of humanity. Small, fragile, yet capable of echoing through the cosmos with a power no one could ignore. The humans set up a secure base on the planet, integrating the crystal device with their research equipment. Lyra worked tirelessly to study the planet's energy patterns, while Kale led patrols and trained the team to use the planet's unique properties. Their love remained quiet, expressed in shared glances, gentle touches, and silent support, but its impact was louder than any shout of life. Over time, the humans learned to use the planet's resonance to communicate across vast distances, transport supplies instantly, and even protect nearby colonies without using conventional weapons. Other species began to take notice. Humans were no longer seen as fragile or weak. They were respected, admired, and even feared, not for aggression but for their courage, ingenuity, and unshakable bonds. Kyle and Lyra remained at the heart of it all, quietly leading by example. They never boasted, never demanded attention, but their actions spoke louder than any words. Their love inspired others, proving that human connection was a strength unlike any other. One evening, under the light of twin moons, Kyle and Lyra walked through the glowing fields of the planet. Bioluminescent plants pulsed softly beneath their feet, in rhythm with the crystal's energy. They stopped at the edge of a ridge overlooking the valley where the ruins now shone like a beacon. Kale took Lyra's hand in his. We started this journey small, he said. Just us, quiet and uncertain. Lyra smiled, leaning her head on his shoulder. And yet, look at what we've done. Look at what humans can do, Kale nodded. It's more than just survival. It's hope, courage, and love. Quiet, yes, but louder than anything else. Lyra squeezed his hand, and it will keep echoing. Through this planet, through our people, through the stars. They stood there together, hand in hand, feeling the pulse of the planet beneath them. It was a rhythm that matched their hearts, steady and enduring. In the quiet they had found power. In the stillness they had shaped worlds. And in their love, they had created a force that could echo louder than any shout, louder than any weapon, louder than life itself. Kale and Lyra did not need to speak. The galaxy already knew. The humans had shown what they were capable of, not through noise or chaos, but through quiet strength, cleverness, and the enduring power of connection. The Federation would remember them. Other species would take note. And somewhere in the pulse of the stars, the galaxy itself seemed to hum in recognition. Kyle and Lyra looked out over the glowing ruins, their hands still clasped. Together they had faced the unknown, tamed it, and inspired the cosmos, and through it all their love remained quiet, but it had echoed louder than every shout of life. The stars above twinkled in approval, and the planet pulsed in quiet celebration. Humanity had won not through force but through what made them uniquely human: courage, ingenuity, and the unbreakable strength of quiet love.